morning. It's Tuesday. Mike Harrell of Harrell Automotive is joining us for You Auto Know. We've got a couple great questions. Hi, Mike.
Good afternoon.
Dogless today, I see. Yes.
They don't like the rain.
I know. I don't blame them. I don't blame them. All right, let's get right to our questions. My 2017 Hyundai Sonata has a bulb that only lasts 3 weeks and then it burns out. It's my turn signal on the back passenger side. Why does it keep burning out, and how do I keep it from happening again? This question coming in from William.
Bulbs are glass and there's filaments in there, so they're very delicate. Our roads aren't the greatest, but I wouldn't attribute that to this bulb failing
If it's
that
the
often.
same bulb over and over.
Correct. It should have some lifespan to it. Usually what we find when a bulb continually keeps going out, it's usually something outside of the bulb, like the connection at the socket where the bulb plugs into. It's not making a good connection, so the electricity can't get through the bulb and make it light up the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
I would suggest having it looked at by a shop that specializes in an electrical portion of your car, right? That knows what they're doing, and have them take a look at that light and the socket specifically.
There you go.
You'll probably find your issue.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right, question number 2. I drive a 2017 Honda Pilot, and I have a hard time seeing at night with my headlights. When I went to the store to look at bulbs, there were many options, and I wasn't sure what to buy. What do you recommend for a brighter path ahead? Thanks, Susan, for your question.
Well, Susan, I just went through this with my wife's Honda. She has a Pilot as well. We ended up putting a brighter bulb in. We went with an LED bulb. She had incandescent bulbs there, but she also had 2 other issues going on at the same time that was diminishing the ability of her headlights to illuminate her path ahead. One, her headlights, the plastic housing had started to oxidize, so they got a little yellow. So as the light was going through the lens, it wasn't diffusing properly and pointing in the right direction. The other issue my wife had was her headlights weren't aimed properly. She had one headlight that was kind of off to the left a little bit, and another one that was up and to the right, almost looking at the top of trees. Right? So it would be great for spotting critters up in the tree, but not so great for seeing where you're going down the road.
How does that happen, though, that they're not pointing straight?
So headlights are an adjustable item on your car.
Okay.
They should be checked once a year with your state inspection in Pennsylvania. But just jostling over time,
sure,
right? Because we have a lot of potholes
on our streets,
jarring potholes, especially this time of year and the few months coming up before the road crews can get around and patch all those holes. So all of that kind of shaking, jostling can certainly put your headlights out of an alignment.
I didn't know that. I've got my own question for you today.
Lovely.
So this was something that I can't remember if I talked with you about or with your son, but I was complaining that my Jeep, I can't see my lights. Was that you I was talking to about?
That was me, yes.
Okay, yes. And we kind of bantered about, lo and behold, I got a safety recall notice. Okay, so my question is, do I have to, when you get a notice like this, do you have to take it back to your dealership, or can anybody fix these things? Can you bring a card in to, say, Harrell Automotive and say, I've got a recall, can you fix this?
When it comes to a recall, recalls are usually backed by the NTSB, right? So a federal agency, and it has to be done through the manufacturer. What it is the manufacturer had recognized that there's a safety concern that should be fixed while you're driving the car, and they're culpable for it. So they're at fault for that safety concern. So they'll bring that vehicle back to the manufacturer, so a dealership, and for you, any Chrysler or Jeep dealership could take care of that. It doesn't have to be where you bought it, but you cannot go to an independent. It has to be done by the dealer, because they're the ones that are getting paid to fix it.
There you go. So even if you bought it used, you still need to go to a participating dealership that sells those cars.
For a recall, yes.
For a recall, yeah. All right, you answered them all. Please submit your questions. Ask at yououghtaknow.org. And Mike will be back next week to handle. I learned so much in this segment. I love this segment, yes.
And today it was about lights. I was thinking on the way over here how important they are when it's dull and gray out.
Exactly.
Right? Things just kind of blend together.
Exactly. Thanks, Mike. We'll see you next week.